We're going.
Just 1 second.
Right, this is it.
Take 27. So today's focus is, what does a good intranet homepage actually look like? We're going to show you, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to give you a big picture. But then future episodes, we're going to look at little sections of like the functionality of that section, the psychology of why it's important, why it could be important to you. But we'd love to know, I'm going to remind you at the end of this episode to comment and share with us which bit jumps out to you. Which bit do you wish you had in your business? Which bit, which is quite common when we talk to prospect clients and clients of ours that didn't even realise that that was possible. So which bit jumps out to you? And then we'd love to hear from you. So Craig, let's start that. So what does a good intranet homepage look like? What's it made up of?
So 2 things. It's got to look good and it's got to be functional. I've seen so many homepages delivered to employees where they've weighed too much on the intranet looking good. They're trying too hard to get that website feel for people. Lots of great imagery, great pictures, great brand, and this is all great stuff. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't help people do their job and people can't see the intranet homepage as a vital channel for their digital experience, they simply won't go back and use it. I look at this pretty simply. If you can't use it, they won't use it. So it's really important that you understand all the right pieces of functionality that are going to fulfill a need for people.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, looking at where we're currently at, is that the ability to make it look professional and look good is quite, I say easy. It's quite easy at the minute with the technology we have in Microsoft. If I was to put you on the spot, and I think from when we speak to people, they think the lens of looking good is probably the main focus. And sometimes it's 50-50 that they see the functionality, but I personally think the lens should be on the functionality side. What are your thoughts? If I was to put you on the spot and say, give me a percentage, what would that look like?
Yeah, on the spot. So 70-30, 70% functionality, 30% looking good. The technology that Microsoft offers now, it's pretty easy to make a SharePoint intranet homepage look good. The web parts available to you are just so much better than they used to be. It's not difficult to use the out-of-the-box technology and create a SharePoint homepage that can compete with, lots of different websites that people are familiar to use now out in their day-to-day lives. And that's something that we like to do. If you think of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, was anybody given an instruction book on how to use those? I've not read one. I think I could use them okay. But same thing applies with intranet homepages. You've got to put stuff on there that people are familiar with, know how to interact with this stuff. Therefore, we'll bring this into the workplace and use it, and it helps them do their job.
Yeah, I think can you tell us a little bit more about the importance of that employee experience? Because that is a big thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you get that from the outset, you can then build momentum and give people what they want. I think you talk about feedback loops quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, so it is really important to understand the audience. So a marketing person is different from a finance person, different from a salesperson, IT person, and so on. They all have different personas. Their digital experience will all be different depending on what their role is and what they need to do. So the intranet harnesses that. People come in through the homepage and start to go off into their different areas where they'll each have all their different user experiences. So it is really important that you do interview, listen, create feedback loops with people, and evolve your intranet homepage forwards that you're fulfilling needs of all these people. So, I love to have my skateboard chat.
It's going to be on several episodes of this podcast.
Probably every one. So I say to people, picture your race car of what you want your intranet homepage to be. But we're going to give you a skateboard. It's going to have 4 wheels. It's going to move. It's going to do all the really basic things, but it's going to do them really, really well. And over time, you want to be listening to everybody, getting that feedback and adapting to it. So you turn your skateboard into a scooter, your scooter into a bike, your bike into a motorbike, motorbike into a car, and you eventually get to your race car. But if you're in day one and you try to start building a race car, number one, you'll try and do too much too soon, overwhelm, people won't engage with it. So you've got to just start small and scale fast. And if I was to write a book on what not to do, and I've seen this done loads of times before, is people lock themselves in a box, come up with an idea of a homepage and an intranet, and they just give it to people. And all you'll do there is create a bunch of critics. Everyone will tell you everything wrong with it and everything that is missing on there, that should have been on there. So it is very, very important to understand what's important to people, get those pillars of functionality, get them onto your homepage. And that's something that we're going to walk through today. We're going to show everybody a typical homepage. And I've done these so many times before that there's your usual suspects of things that you go ahead, have lots of interviews, understand people. It is great stuff. But there's going to be things that are no-brainers. You're going to have these different pillars, and that's something that we'll walk through.
Yeah, so just before we show you, I think from what I've seen and what you're probably going to see and hear us talking about already is that an intranet becomes a movable thing that changes and adapts over something that just lands and sits there. Because that's what I've seen from the people lens. People have got static things that they either use or they don't use.
Yeah.
And when they do use them, it's very kind of robotic.
Yeah, I mean, people, if you were to do an interview, a quick poll, and ask people, why'd you come back to the homepage? It's got to build that sense of curiosity with people. So people come back for change. If you've got a very static intranet homepage, big image, never changes, and you've got a few buttons on there to click, and it never changes, you're not going to get that engagement you're after. Yeah. But if you've got things on there that are interactive and news and things on there that are changing, people start to build that into their daily experiences of, I come in, I fire the intranet homepage up, I can see what's new in the business, I can see my tasks, I can see this, and I can see what's going on. And it becomes an enabler for me to do my job.
Yeah. Let's have a look, shall we?
Let's fire it up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to walk you through the homepage top to bottom. This is a really popular homepage that we put into places. This is a good starter homepage. As I said, it's got the usual suspects on. So let's jump in. So the first thing you'll notice about this homepage is it's directly in Teams. So everyone's in Teams these days. This is where people are having their conversations. I have this theory now that one-stop shops are dead. And you've got to bring the shop to people where they are. So you can use Viva Connections and you can throw your intranet straight up in Teams. So it's always with everybody just in the left-hand side bar there. The other thing you'll notice is we've given the intranet a brand. We called this particular demo one Hub. You can call this anything you like. But a good adoption and engagement technique that we do when we launch intranets is we host a competition. And we invite everybody to share their ideas on what they want to call their intranet. And it's a nice little thing to get that instant spike in engagement of people when you launch your intranet.
Like I say, that's so important. And you mentioned out the box earlier on in the episode, and kind of, is this out the box? Like
completely out the box.
Perfect.
Yeah. So there is no fancy custom code on here. There are a lot of web parts available. Some are free, some are very pricey, but this is completely out of the box because I honestly believe the technology that Microsoft is offering now, you can manipulate it out of the box to deliver homepages like this.
Yeah, and also just to reiterate and confirm people some of the things that you might be talking about in this demo, people like, I've never heard of that before. So that's one of the reasons we're going to be doing those sort of deeper dives into some of the technologies that we use and some of the enablers that we use as part of this demo. Yeah,
so what I'll do, I'll probably do some like more techie dives into, how did I create this? How did I create this? In upcoming sessions for those that are interested in techie bits. So many homepages, pretty much every homepage, they have what we call here the mega menu, that top global nav. This is set up as an intranet hub site. So this top nav here will remain consistent and on all of the sub pages. So if you've got your functions, your brands, where you want to give people one-click access to get to where they need to be, that's where this mega menu and global nav comes in. You'll see here is we take quite a bit of real estate on the page with this, hero web part. But this does a few things. This is giving quite a lot of information, but it's also bringing in a bit of that visual element and brand. So you can manipulate the imagery, bring your brand in, your colours in. I've manipulated this carousel here to look like it's scrolling through these tabs. But this is giving all these key things that, as an organisation, you want the employees to see, these headlines. Yeah. Over on the right here, you've got what we call a my dashboard. You've got to bring an element of personalisation into your home pages and that relevance for people. When we're talking about the functionality, people have got to want to come back and use this. So I'll run through a few of these. So have you ever had that? This annoys me. You get emails from internal comms all the time. Have you ever had those emails of, there's a car in the car park parked incorrectly? There's a fire alarm test. I do not care. I don't want you clogging up my inbox with all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
You can put things like alerts on here. You can use the Intranet homepage to take away some of that stuff from internal comms. Create an alert area and an announcement area. This can also automate to email if you want it to, but you can be more relevant to the people you want to get it to. And you might have a load of remote workers as well that are on the mobile. You can even get this automated to pop up on their mobile phone if you wanted to.
I was going to say that everything we're showing you, and again, nowadays it's a given, isn't it, that you're able to have that. But again, that mentality and mindset change that you can actually operate at home on your laptop, you can actually operate on the move and get these notifications and important things that aren't in email form.
Exactly, yeah. And this uses responsive design. So this is all available on mobiles. And all you've got to do is do some good internal comms campaigning around how to access on mobile, and straight away you're reaching a lot of those remote people. So you've got things on here as well like tasks. So in another episode, we'll talk about using Planner and the To-Do app and how this works. But you can put that on your Intranet homepage as a good habit. I might fire the homepage up and I can see what tasks I've got to do today. You've got things on here as well like People Finder. So people want to find people in organisations. So I can find Stuart, and
I thought I'd hidden that.
And I can get in contact, I can send a direct message, an email, I can give you a call over Teams. People want to find people. Let the homepage give people that platform to find everybody that they want to.
And I've had conversations with people recently about, I love the fact that we're giving people in this technology space their time back. So that's a specific one that people go, who do I need to speak to?
Yeah.
And they spend a lot of time then trawling emails, or it's a search capability that you can, I know we're going to delve into it in more detail in future episodes, but that is so important.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got things on here as well like sending praise to colleagues. This is a really good HR enabler. Everyone's at home now behind their mobiles and laptops, and that sense of recognition is very difficult to do. And Microsoft offer a really nice praise solution where you can give colleagues praise. You can get things in here like IT help desk. I forgot my password. I need to raise a ticket. You might already have an existing ticket system and it can link up and hook up with that. Or, in another episode, I'll show you how to build one using the Microsoft capability. Things like approvals. So I want my expenses approved, my leave approved. You can put all of that type of thing onto your homepage, as well as anything you want to spotlight things to, like sign up for this webinar, ask us anything about a topic like AI. This can hook up to you and give people an into your LMS systems, or Viva Learning. We'll do another episode on Viva Learning. And then you're coming down the right, you see this we're trying to keep this bar as the me bar. Like this dashboard is all about me, and
which goes into that selfishness thing, isn't it? It's got to be an element of why do I need to use this?
Exactly.
That's so important.
It is, it's so important. And so you've got here like my toolkit. Okay, think of this is such a simple but effective solution on a homepage. many organizations, and you're probably thinking this yourself now I'm saying it out loud, is if you don't have something like this, what are you doing? How are people getting back to the systems and tools on a day-to-day basis? People are either finding the email that somebody sent them when they first joined, and they're trying to scroll through and find that link to that thing, or they're putting them up in their favorites bar in their browser amongst the 100 other stuff that's in there.
Yeah.
This is just very simple, one-click access back to the tools that people use the most. And people might come back to the homepage just for that. This signposts me to the finance system. This signposts me to our marketing capabilities. And carrying down, you can put galleries on here. I've seen this used quite a lot to display the Christmas parties, give a sense of this is our people.
That community feel, isn't it?
Yeah, and book a meeting room, things like that. So we try and keep that right hand side. It becomes common knowledge to people that this is my dashboard. This is things here that's relevant to me. More in the middle here is the news, and we'll do a whole episode. I could talk for hours just on the capability of news within SharePoint, but it's so important that you get your news operating right, because internal communications is probably the number one most important thing that your home pages can deliver. So we'll do a deep dive on that, but you want to get your news on here. This is using a technology called it's the Viva feed, so this is personalized news. And this is throwing news up that the organisation wants to, but it's also throwing news up that you might be following various communities as well that I'll put in here. And we like to create communities, so we use Viva Engage here to engage with colleagues. This is a really good adoption and engagement technique, is get people talking, get people collaborating and sharing their ideas and asking questions. Put it on your homepage.
And do you know what side seems well? I said that to somebody a couple of weeks ago. I said, isn't it funny how we're talking about the simplicity of, wouldn't it be great if more people spoke to each other? It's like, wow, like the hamster wheel of busy being busy that I term all the time. Yeah. But to give them the ability to create communities and have conversations.
And people do this in their daily lives. Bringing a social aspect into the workplace is needed now. People use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. This is how people want to engage and operate. So create those communities, get it in here, and you don't need to train people on how to use this, because this is what they do anyway.
Yeah, that's the big change that we see moving forwards.
So you got things, like what's on. You can put all of your events on there that are important to the business. And then coming down here, your FAQs. This is a really powerful web part to have. There's a nice thing that you can put on here. You can have various different categories, and at a click of a button, you can surface knowledge to people. Very, very easy to do. You can configure this up any way you want and get all the key FAQs of your organisation on there. Popular resources, again, these can be anything you like, displayed in any way, but you do want to link people to some of the core resources. And lastly here, a bit of I was working with a company that wanted to bring a global feel to their Intranet homepage. So we put a map on, and we put a clickable map on, and you could access the different office locations. And the demo on here is, you can click this map and you can access various case studies. So it brings that sense of it's interactive. I have a feeling that we're in a global organization. We're delivering stuff around the globe. So you can do nice things like that. And I'll show you how that's done in an upcoming episode. So, these are all the various pillars. This, for me, it looks good. It's got the brand on there. It's got a good level of functionality. It's not too overwhelming. And I think it's got that good balance between design and functionality.
Okay, so just to wrap up this episode, I've got so many questions, and I know they're going to be done in other episodes regards to, for example, AI is a massive thing that we can't even cover today. But from what we linked into earlier on about the ability for it to evolve and grow over time, I love the fact that everything you showed us, and we can add that element of measure and monitor. Yeah. So it can just tell us a little bit about what that process looks like.
Yeah, so when you've got your Microsoft ecosystem up and running, you've got your homepage, your intranet, your sub pages. SharePoint offers some really good out-of-the-box analytics capability. It's really important that when you launch your intranet, you have a plan alongside it. You've got a bit of a change management plan. You launch it in the right way. You're listening to your people, but you're looking at the data, and it's really easy to do. Well, I'll do a deep dive in this in another episode, but there's some really good data there for you to see what's hot, what's not, do more of what people are interacting with more, get rid of the stuff that's not working. So when you're creating those feedback loops, you're not only getting it word of mouth, but you've got some really good data to analyze as well to evolve and adapt your homepage in the direction it needs to go.
Yeah, and I think that's the big key for the future of what intranet homepages and intranets in general look like. Because we said earlier on, didn't we, that previous experiences is that done to process that it's just been dumped and it just sits there for several years.
I know the saying that you'll probably hear me saying a lot on these is everything measured gets improved.
Oh, I love that. I've not heard that for a while.
Yeah,
it reminded me.
If you're not measuring it, to me, then it's not important.
Yeah.
So you've got to measure this stuff. It really is vital that you do it because you need to know where to improve. So that another episode we'll talk about adoption techniques, how to launch intranets, and we'll do a deep dive on that and discuss that in more detail. But it's really important you do couple that with your home pages.
Fab. So I think we're going to draw this episode to a close. So thank you for joining us on this journey through what a good intranet homepage looks like. Remember what I said at the start. I'm going to remind you, please put in the comments which bit has jumped out to you, which bit are you most interested in, you wish you had or you didn't even know was a capability. We'd really love to know. At the same time as subscribing to this podcast, give us your feedback, let us know which bit that is, and then we'll do a deep dive into that specific episode. So thanks for joining us, and see you on the next one.